As you come in, fill in all the available seats, sit beside other clubs, don't leave seats in between or seats on the end. All right, keep moving forward and fill in all the available seats. We want to make sure we get as many people in a seat as we can.
Check 1, 2, test.
You asked. We don't have a pen. Okay. Maybe let Frank know if there's a student. Let them come in and stand in the back or find a seat. We do have more seating in the lobby. You can watch the award ceremony live online, live on our big screen. We'll be streaming out there in real time. We're going to just take one more minute and make sure we've got all the students in here with us.
If you have an empty seat next to you, there are other people who are wanting a seat. If you have an empty seat next to you, please raise your hand. If you have an empty seat next to you, raise your hand. So got a few more folks that want to come in. Again, if you have an empty seat next to you, just keep your hand raised until it falls off or until somebody takes the seat. Thank you.
Okay, yes, the audience. I really thought it was going to be this. Jerry, what are you doing? No, it's going to be the audience.
I want the audience.
Jerry's like, can you give me a second? I'm like, no.
No, I cannot. First of all, that is not a good angle for anyone.
Just give me like 3 minutes. See the recording? You see him getting up and everything?
Yeah, they're waving.
That's adorable. Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And we're talking. So cool. Hello, Tar Heel Junior historians and their parents.
All right, does it seem like all the students are here?
I think so.
Okay, welcome to the 2018 Tar Heel Junior Historian Association Awards Ceremony. Today we have celebrated our magazine themes, including Carolina Style and the 300th anniversary of Blackbeard, and now we're going to celebrate and recognize you and the work that you've done this year, researching, preserving, and sharing our state's history. And that is our goal with this program, for students across our state, anyone in North Carolina, to understand that they can be a part of discovering history and sharing history, and that you're also making history at the same time. This year, as a Tar Heel Junior Historian, you are a member of a group that is over 8,000 strong, more than 8,000 Tar Heel Junior historians across the state. So that's 184 clubs in 60 of North Carolina's 100 counties this year, more than double the students that we had last year. So you really are a part of something big and a part of history. This is also the 65th year of the Tar Heel Junior Historian Association, so going back to 1953. When you go to our Discovery Gallery on the 3rd floor, when you walk in, you are greeted by a wall of photos, some of them black and white, junior historians from throughout the years. Back in the 1950s and 60s, they're wearing hats and gloves and suits to the award ceremony, and we go through the years and we get a little more modern and a little more casual, and the young men who were on the cover of our fall magazine, those 3 young men who were at convention in the late 80s or early 90s, were Tar Heel Junior historians. They were studying history, but now we're studying them as a part of history. So remember that, and remember that as you think about all of the work you did on your projects. We're all really impressed with your work. And we have some more winners to announce, and these winners will go into the gallery as well. So your projects will be displayed, and the thousands of visitors that come to this museum each year are going to learn a little bit more about North Carolina history from you through your projects. So let's go ahead and begin our awards ceremony. We're going to start with the Christopher Crittenden quiz. That quiz is named for Dr. Crittenden, who was one of the people who helped start the Tar Heel Junior Historian Association back in 1953. And on behalf of the North Carolina Literary and Historical Association, I will announce the winners for the Christopher Crittenden State History Quiz. For the elementary division, in 2nd place, we have Haley Malone from Mugty Mess Historians at Underwood Elementary School. In 1st place, we have Anna Ma, also from the Mugty Mess Historians at Underwood Elementary School here in Raleigh. All right, they're going to have their photo made. I'll go ahead and move on to the intermediate division. In 2nd place, we have Emma Daring from the Lincoln Historians, the Academy at Lincoln. And in 1st place, we have Hayden Creech, also from the Lincoln Historians, Academy at Lincoln in Greensboro. In the secondary division, for 2nd place, we have David Young of Homeschoolers Unfolding History, the Johnston County Home Educators. And in 1st place, we have Seth Young, also from Homeschoolers Unfolding History, Johnston County Home Educators. Next up, we're going to move to our magazine contest. Kathy East is the editor of the Tar Heel Junior Historian magazine, and she will announce the winners for the magazine article contest. The 1st place essays will be printed in the fall 2018 and the spring 2019 issues of the Tar Heel Junior Historian magazine. So we have expanded. There are now 2 opportunities to be published in the magazine.
Thank you, Jessica. As Jessica said, this coming year, for the first time, we're going to start publishing essays in both the fall and the spring issue. So it's twice as many opportunities for you to enter. And also, if there's, say, the fall prompt, that issue theme is not your cup of tea, you want to do something else, you'll have more choices to write about. So we look forward to seeing your entries next year. So first of all, for the fall, the issue coming up this fall, Fall 2018, which will be about North Carolina's 3 regions. We'll start with the elementary category. The second place winner is Kaylee Gillard. She's from Morehead City Elementary School. And first place is Bethany Crawford from Seed History Seekers. Okay, next in the intermediate category for the fall, second place is Casey Fletcher from We Ard Homeschool Families. Not sure if she's here. And first place is Luke Crawford, Seed History Seekers, Garner Area Homeschools. Moving on to the secondary awards for the fall 2018 issue. Second place is, I hope I'm saying this right, Jalen Lowry. And he's with the Piedmont Patriot Historians, Piedmont Community Charter School. Awesome. And first place in secondary is Jared Dawson from Piedmont Patriot Historians, Piedmont. Great. Okay, we're moving on now to the spring 2019 issue, which will be about the 1960s. In the elementary category, the first place winner, there's no second place this time, but the first place winner is Anna Ma from Mugti Mess Historians. In the intermediate category, I can hardly talk over y'all's screams. That's great. I love hearing all those cheers for these writers. It's wonderful. In the intermediate category, second place is Matthew Peluso from Peluso Junior Historians, Peluso Christian Academy. And the first place winner is Alexis Whitworth from Piedmont Patriot Historians, Piedmont Community Charter School. And we did not have winners in the secondary category this year, but I want to see entries from all across the state next year. 2 more opportunities. You'll be learning in the fall what those themes will be, and I look forward to reading your entries next year. Thank you.
Next up, we have Jeanette Coleridge-Taylor, who is with us from the State Historic Preservation Office to present the awards for the North Carolina Historic Architecture Photography Contest.
Hello. So I have to tell you before I start, we need more entries next year. I was very disappointed that I didn't have a whole lot to choose from, although the ones that I chose from were very good, but we need many, many, many more. So just think about that. The architectural details category is the first one that I'm going to give an award for. The second place goes to Hudson White. So Hudson took a picture of Morehead City historical homes. And the first place goes to Tanner Flippin. He took a photo of the R.J. Reynolds building. Next category is commercial and industrial buildings. Okay, don't scream, okay? Luke Crawford. took a picture inside the Reed Gold Mine, and maybe you guys have been there. The photo he took was so really, really interesting, a perspective that normally I would not expect a child to take a picture like that. I was very impressed. The first place goes to Olivia Moraga. She is with the Smith McDowell House. She took a picture of the Sawyer Motor Company. Next category is industrial and public buildings. The second place goes to Caleb Montessoria. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Monasterio, who took a picture of Yop's Meeting House. And a meeting house is where Quakers go to have their services and their meetings. So I thought that was very interesting. First place goes to Noella Moraga with the Smith McDowell House. Last category was monuments, and the second place person took a photo of the Big Rock, which is, and that person's name is Riley Copson. And because Yops is a monument also, Caleb wins first place, Monasterio. So, congratulations. And again, we want more entries next year. Thank you.
So we're especially looking for entries in the houses category. Does anyone have any houses in their community that are more than 50 years old? Take a picture, do some research, enter that category next year. Also, the barns and outbuildings category. Could have used some more entries in that category this year. So, the next contest we're going to move on to is the Artifact Search Contest, sponsored by the North Carolina Museum of History Associates. There are 9 winners in the contest this year, and they will be announced by Associate Director of the Associates, Kara Leonfelder-Meyer.
Thank you, Jessica. Hey guys, so I'm with the Friends and Donors group from the museum, and we're super proud of all of you, and I'm super excited to be here. I'm going to read the winners for the Artifact Search Contest. First, Becca Carpenter from Aquadale Elementary School. Bethany Crawford from Garner Area Homeschoolers. Eleanor Edwards from Mount Airy Museum of Regional History. Jordan Cook, Aquadale Elementary School. That was awesome. Kate Malone from Underwood GT Magnet Elementary. Lily Ann Stockham from Smith McDowell House. Luke Bradshaw from Home Educators Association of Roxborough. Luke Crawford, Garner Area Homeschoolers. And Matthew Paluzzo from Paluzzo Christian Academy. Congratulations.
I try not to pick favorites, but I think the Artifact Search Contest is one of my favorite contests to look at as the entries come in each year. The next set of awards that we're going to move on to are sponsored by the North Carolina Literary and Historical Association. These include the exhibit contest, the literary contest, and the video documentary contest. We're going to start with the elementary art exhibit contest. We'll start with the elementary group. In second place, we have the clothing of the colonials and the lost colony from the Seed History Seekers. Garner area homeschools. In first place, we have Yops Meeting House by the Old North State History Hounds Homeschool. We'll move on to the individual elementary category. In second place, we have the Battle of Ransord's Mill by Juliana Siegel from the Mugty Mess Historians at Underwood GT Magnet Elementary. And in first place, we have The Wild Horses of Kerala by Mika Darbuz from the Seed History Seekers, Garner area homeschoolers. In the intermediate or middle school exhibit art contest, we'll start with the groups. In second place, we have Graveyard of the Atlantic, Plucked from Peril by the Old North State History Hounds. In first place, we have Mayberry Crossroads by the Jesse Franklin Pioneers at the Mount Airy Museum of Regional History. Congratulations. I love your necklace. I love all the necklaces. All right. All right, we'll get their pictures. Of course, these pictures will go in the gallery on the labels, so when our visitors come, they'll not only be able to see what you've done, but they'll be able to see who you are. We're going to move. We're going to move on to the individual category for intermediate art. In second place, we have Waverly Plantation by Dale Painter of the Time Travelers. And in first place, we have the Tobacco Barn by Mae Pridgeon from the Greenfield School Junior Historians at the Greenfield School in Wilson. We have a lot of clubs with red shirts this year. It's the color of 2018 convention. one at a time. For the secondary exhibit contest in the group, we have Pathways to Freedom by Seed History Seekers of the Garner area homeschoolers in second place. And in first place, we have Victory Canner by Homeschoolers Unfolding History of the Johnston County Home Educators. And for the individual exhibit art contest for the secondary division, in second place, we have Pitt County Memorial Hospital, A Crusade for Healthcare by Grace Newall of the K Tribe at the Arundel Parrott Academy in Kinston. And in first place, we have the Hoffman Hotel by Megan Whitworth of the Piedmont Patriot Historians at Piedmont Community Charter School. We're going to move on to the literary contest. They need individual pictures. We'll start with the elementary group prizes for literary. In second place, we have the North Carolina Life Saving Station by Moorhead Elementary School. In first place for literary group, we have Blaylock, A Civil War Story by the Mountain Discovery Junior Historians at Mountain Discovery Charter School. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on just a minute. Hold on. Yep. All right. For the elementary literary individual projects, in second place we have A Slave Diary by Juliana Siegel of the Mugty Mess Historians at Underwood GT Magnet Elementary School. And in first place we have The Wilmington Race Riot of 1898 by Brooks Harold of the Jesse Franklin Pioneers at the Mount Airy Museum of Regional History. We do send these pictures along with press releases to your local newspaper, so Keep an eye out for that in your local newspaper. We send to the newspapers in each county all of the winners from their area, from their county. Next up for literary, we will move on to the intermediate category, starting with the group projects. In second place, we have U-Boats Off the North Carolina Coast by Homeschoolers Unfolding North Carolina History from the Johnston County Home Educators. They can go together, I think. Either way. For first place intermediate group in the literary contest, we have notable Nash and Rocky Mount natives from the RMA Junior Historians at the Rocky Mount Academy. For the individual literary contest, the intermediate division, in second place, we have The Spanish Lady by Catherine Williams of Roots class at Camelot Academy. And in first place, we have A Conductor's Daughter by Cora Branch of the Jesse Franklin Pioneers at the Mount Airy Museum of Regional History. Next up in literary is what we call the secondary division or the high school division. We'll start with the group projects again. For second place, we have Where's Walter from Seed History Seekers, Garner area homeschoolers. That was the group category. There's no first place project recognized, but for the individual category of secondary literary, for second place, we have A Visitor's Guide to Okanichi Village by Thomas McKieran of Era of History from the Eno River Academy. And in first place, we have The Rose Bowl in Durham by Kobe Ledford, History Hounds of Central Carolina, North Carolina Homeschool Adventures. All right, we'll move on. The last contest sponsored by the Literary and Historical Association is the video documentary contest. Starting with elementary group, in second place we have The History of Camp Glen by the Moorhead Elementary School Club. And no first place entry recognized this year. That takes us to the intermediate group. In first place, we have the NCUHPA Keeping History Alive by Peluso Junior Historians at Peluso Christian Academy. And for the individual intermediate video documentary contest, for first place, we have A Mystery in History by Amelia Cutlip of We Are Homeschool Families. For the secondary division group video, we have in second place Two Little Man by We Are Homeschool Families. And in first place, secondary group video, we have Jonathan Levin, A Legacy of Giving Back by Homeschoolers Unfolding History of Johnston County Home Educators. All right, next up we're going to move on to our special awards, and these are additional awards, additional recognition that an entry can receive if it relates to the theme selected by our sponsoring and partnering agencies. First up, we have the African American History Award, which is sponsored by the North Carolina African American Heritage Commission, and the commission works across the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources to achieve the mission of preserving, protecting, and promoting North Carolina's African American history, art, and culture for all people. And Sylvia West will announce the recipient of this award.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Okay, I have just one person to announce. And so when I announce that person, I want to hear the loudest congratulation, yell, scream. I want you to just raise the roof off this building, okay? This person has won for police brutality then and now. That person's name is Rebecca Walker, History Seekers, Garner area homeschoolers.
Next up, we have the American Indian History Award. This award is sponsored by the state's Commission of Indian Affairs, and Lydia Locklear will present the award for this year.
I love the energy in here. Like she said, I'm representing the American Indian History Award, and we really want more entries next year because it's really important to know the history of the nation's first peoples and the state of North Carolina's first peoples, and that these people are still here. The state of North Carolina recognizes 8 tribes throughout the state. And so we had some pretty good entries, but we want more next year. And so with that being said, I will announce the winner, Miss Kate Malone with Nikwasi Mound. Congratulations.
We also have a genealogy award. It's sponsored by the Friends of the Archives. No entry was selected for the award this year, but when you're looking for primary sources for your projects next year, remember the State Archives and their search room and their website. All great places to start. We do have Debbie Blake here to represent the Friends of the Archives and tell you a little bit more about what they do, especially related to genealogy.
Thank you. As Ms. Pratt said, we will not be giving an award this year, but we are looking for, the Friends of the Archives is always looking for awards for genealogy and for family history. And just as a kind of guideline for what a winning project would contain, is that to qualify for this particular award, the winning project should present an orderly delineation of ancestors from the creator back several generations with documentation and sources cited for all information. So each generation needs to be documented and cited before you move to the next generation back. This can take the form of pedigree charts, family group sheets, and family tree displays. It can also include family stories and photographs, but should not be limited to those. So we hope next year to see a lot of awards, entries in this award so that we can give the award out next year. Thank you.
The Sports History Award is sponsored by the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame, which is housed on the 3rd floor of the museum. This year's recipient of the Sports History Award is Kobe Ledford for his project, The Rose Bowl in Durham. Kobe is from the History Hounds of Central Carolina Club. Next up, we have Harriet M. Sutherland who will announce the award winner of our Women's History Award from the North Carolina Council for Women and Youth Involvement.
Okay, I also do the SAD program in the schools. So if you don't have SAD in your school, especially middle school, I'll be glad to help you set up one. Okay, the winner, the name of the paper with 5 things you needed to be a Moravian woman in the late 18th and early 19th century. And the winner of this awards, the Women History Awards, is Christina McKiernan.
All right. Next, we have our History in Action Award. This is an award that we started several years ago to recognize junior historian clubs in our gallery for the great service projects that they were doing across the state. Many clubs were already participating in cemetery cleanups or building preservation or doing walking tours or other types of tours for their community, and we wanted to recognize that. This year's participants chose great local history topics to research and committed hours of important service, which is in the spirit of the Tar Heel Junior Historian Association. So I'm going to list the clubs that participated, and if you'll just send one representative up from your club to pick up your certificate, and then we do a drawing. So one student will go back to their seat with a $100 bill for their club. This year's the clubs we had participating in History in Action include the Old North State History Hounds for their project, the Historic Russell School. The students researched a Rosenwald school in their community and also talked to some students, former students of that school, and did oral history interviews with them. We also have storytelling at Guilford Courthouse National Military Park by Lincoln historians, the Academy at Lincoln. Oh, stay up here with your certificate because you might go back with money. We have Groundbreakers and History Makers, and also Next Stop Garner by the Seed History Seekers, Garner area homeschoolers. Martha's Mission Cupboard by Moorhead Elementary School. The students researched the history of their local food pantry and have been donating monthly and volunteering. We have Living History Days at SMH Over History from the Smith McDowell House. Students volunteered for living history programs and served over 500 students from the Asheville area. And the life and work of a local pilot, Warren Wheeler, from Homeschoolers Unfolding History in Johnston County, researched airline pilot and airline owner Warren Wheeler. And then I'm going to let Chelsea reach in here and draw the name of the club that's going to get the $100 prize. Chelsea has done a fabulous job organizing the contest this year. All right. We have Living History Day, SMH Over History, Smith McDowell House. All right. So thank you to all of the clubs that participated in the History in Action. take a look around your community, see what kind of history service projects need your time and your help. We'll wrap up with some really special awards. The Advisor, Rookie Chapter, and Chapter of the Year awards are sponsored by the North Carolina Museum of History Associates. And remember that if you would like your advisor or your club to be considered for an Of the Year award next year, you've got to nominate yourself or nominate your advisor. And send those in with your other contest entries. And you can send them in secret, too, if you want to nominate your advisor. This year's Advisor of the Year is Matthew Richards from the Piedmont Patriot Historians at the Piedmont Community Charter School. How many years have you been doing this? So Matthew has been doing this at least as long as I have, because I know my first year in this position, I spent the summer calling some advisors and getting some feedback on the program, and I called him at home in the summer, and he answered and he talked to me and gave me lots of great feedback about the Junior Historian program, and so I'm really excited that 11 years later we get to recognize his work that he's done with his clubs. The Rookie Chapter of the Year is an award for a first or second year club that has taken on kind of the spirit of the Tar Heel Junior Historian Association and has really done some great work in their local community and studying North Carolina history. And this year we recognize the Peluso Junior Historians from the Peluso Christian Academy in New Bern. We also have our Chapter of the Year award. And this is for a club that has been doing some great work the last few years. They're not a rookie chapter, but they're a fairly new club. I'm very happy to announce that the 2018 Chapter of the Year is the RMA Junior Historians Club from Rocky Mount Academy. Angela can be in the picture. All right. I want to remind you, advisors, to check your email for our survey that's going to come around on Monday. Students, we want to hear how your day was, what you liked about convention, what you would want to do again, what you feel like you don't need to do again. So make sure you talk to your advisors. They can help you fill out the survey that we're going to send to them. It's a SurveyMonkey link. We want to know. Also, you can pick up last year's art projects or this year's non-winning art entries on the second floor. All other projects, non-winning entries from this year and winning entries from last year at the table outside of the auditorium. Even if you're not sure whether or not you have anything, check. We might have an envelope from a few years ago. So check at the table out there. Thank you all for your hard work. Thank you for being a part of this program, and we look forward to seeing you next year.